Hey everyone, and welcome right back to the Explainer. Today we're jumping straight into a really critical piece of the Intelligent Organization Framework, or TIO. We're zeroing in on Domain 3, which is technology, and specifically we are unpacking Capability 2, technology platforms. We're going to explore this blueprint together to figure out exactly what it takes to build approved, reliable places for people to actually get their daily work done.
So here is our roadmap for today. We'll kick things off with the shadow IT problem. Talk about the concept of approved places to work. Draw a really important line between architecture and platforms, and then walk through the 5 core behaviors, 3 practical outputs, and how to actually prove your platform capability.
All right, first up, the shadow IT problem. Time for a quick reality check.
We really have to talk about the visceral, everyday pain of fragmented tech stacks and unmanaged workarounds. Honestly, if you've ever had to deal with the sheer chaos of rogue software popping up across a large organization, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's this foundational quote that says, "People do not wait for perfect technology strategy, they need to get work done." And wow, is that true? Your frontline workers aren't out there trying to be malicious when they bypass IT, you know? They aren't trying to cause massive security breaches. They literally just want to be productive. And when your system has too much friction, they will absolutely find the path of least resistance.
So what does this actually look like when your approved tools fail the usability test? Well, people create workarounds. You'll start seeing employees using their personal accounts for enterprise work. Whole teams will just pull out a company credit card and buy unmanaged software on the fly, basically crossing their fingers that finance doesn't notice. You've got critical, highly sensitive data being copy-pasted into fragile, disconnected spreadsheets that are literally one bad click away from a total disaster. And a huge one right now, AI tools. People are testing AI all over the company without any clear boundaries or shared rules. At the end of the day, all these quick, short-term fixes create massive, long-term risks for the enterprise. Because if the safe tools are too hard, too slow, or too limited, people are going to build unsafe workarounds. It's just human nature.
Moving on to part 2. Approved places to work. This is where the paradigm really shifts.
So how do we actually fix this mess? We need a complete paradigm shift in how we think about the tools we give our teams. The framework defines technology platforms as the organization's ability to provide approved, secure, supported, usable, and scalable environments for work, data, collaboration, automation, and AI. Now, the absolutely crucial point here is that this is not just about your procurement team going out and buying more software licenses. No way. It's about actively curating and managing a highly reliable, safe environment where the actual digital work of the enterprise gets done. Listen, if you take only one single thing away from this explainer, let it be this core message. People need approved places to work. Your end goal here is not to lock down IT and just say no to everything to maintain a false sense of control. The real goal is to make safe, productive work so much easier than those unsafe, rogue workarounds. You want the approved path to be the absolute best, most efficient path for your employees.
All right, Section 3, Architecture versus Platforms, Drawing the Boundary Line.
To clear up a super common corporate misunderstanding, we really need to define the exact boundary between architecture and platforms. They get mixed up all the time, but they have distinctly different jobs. Architecture shapes the environment. It ensures that all your different technology choices actually fit together smoothly, and it defines the overarching direction and principles. Platforms, on the other hand, enable the environment. They provide the actual approved tools and give people the literal digital places where their day-to-day work happens. So think of architecture as the grand city plan and the building codes, right? And platforms are the actual physical offices and buildings where your people live, work, and collaborate.
Let's move to Section 4, the 5 core behaviors, execution mechanics.
Now that we know where the boundary is, let's talk operational reality. How do leaders actually pull this off day to day? Well, there are 5 core behaviors you need for a mature platform's capability. First, you select. That means choosing and rationalizing your platforms based on the actual enterprise need, the risk, the fit, and the cost. Second, you provide. This is actually making those approved platforms available, making sure they are securely configured, and making them highly usable for the teams. Third is standardize, which means defining exactly what each platform is supposed to be used for and setting really firm data boundaries. Fourth, you support. You're actively helping users adopt the tools, troubleshooting their issues, and making sure they're working safely. And finally, improve. You use real, hard evidence on usage, pain points, and costs to enhance, consolidate, or maybe eventually retire platforms. It's a full, continuous life cycle.
Next up, Section 5, 3 practical outputs, the tangibles.
So what are the actual tangible deliverables here? We don't want endless paperwork. A mature capability really just needs 3 highly organized, practical outputs to show it actually exists. First, you need a platform portfolio map. This is just a super clear view showing your approved landscape, what major platforms you have, what their purpose is, who owns them, and what the actual usage looks like. Next, the approved platform standards and use rules. Think of this as your playbook. It defines how platforms should be used safely, outlining what's allowed, what's restricted, where your data boundaries are, and how support works. And third, a platform roadmap and adoption plan. This is what turns your platform choices into action. It identifies priority improvements, flags training needs, and points out which tools you probably need to retire soon. It keeps the whole thing actionable and totally visible.
And finally, Section 6, Proving Platform Capability, Executive Evidence. Okay, so we've designed the system, we have our 3 outputs, but how do we know this is really working in the real world? To prove this capability isn't just a fantasy, you need 3 concrete pieces of executive evidence. Number 1, a crystal clear inventory of your approved platforms. And yes, that absolutely must include AI and automation. Number 2, clear standards on permitted versus restricted tools. Everyone needs to know the rules of the road. And number 3, explicit support models with named owners and defined service levels. If you can confidently point to those 3 themes, congratulations, you have a highly functional, proven platform capability.
So I want to leave you with this final kind of provocative question to chew on for your own organization. Are your technology platforms enabling safe speed, or are they driving your people underground? Seriously, remember this. If your teams are out there building shadow IT, it is a massive, glaring signal that your approved places to work just aren't working yet. Take a really hard look at your digital workspaces, apply these blueprints we talked about today, and start building environments where your people can actually thrive safely. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.